Hey.
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
No, insufficient. The police presence is in these parts. Now that everyone's here, tell me, have you had any trouble? Sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting you.
Oh no, not at all. I guess I haven't had many customers lately, RCM or otherwise.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake.
We're terminally
People
bored.
who are terminally bored. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose
I
from.
may have something to add to it.
It keeps me
His attention is
entertained.
drawn once more to the play of lights and shadows on the wall behind him.
Entertained? He might be high. If he is, on what?
There's something I'd like to sell.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump a mesk banger? No matter. I'll give you 200
Oh,
real.
yeah.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure
The
you.
lieutenant explains as the pawnbroker opens his ration, count the cash.
Of course. I meant no offense. 200 real for
yeah.
you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again.
Thank you.
He takes the cash, then turns to you.
Here's the 100 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The windfall is a small consolation.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
I have a fascinating photo of a corpse here.
Oh, no. I don't like those kinds of objects. No sale.
Billion looks at, do you know what these tattoos mean?
Aphotic paths, counter-radiance networks, anti-magnetism. It's darkness. That's all I know. Sell me something
Check my pockets.
lighter. Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Sell some postcards. I can sell all that stuff. I don't need it yet. I don't need money. I'll hang on to the things, thank you.
Another time, perhaps.
You might be able to aid us in our investigation.
I doubt it, but I can try and answer any
Know
questions
anything about the
you
recent
may
hanging?
have. I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business, bad for everyone.
No one likes to see what you have to see
So that's all
every
I've
day.
got.
The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing
Any
colors.
guns?
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days
What?
back.
What? Sold? The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
Wait, I sold my gun?
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emissions. The unhealthy kind.
He's not telling you the whole story. It seems he's trying to spare you.
I feel like there's something... There's a good reason for that.
She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive, but I was just happy to get rid of it, and of her. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the Citizens Militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
Miraculously, His face does not reveal what's happening inside.
There is only one explanation. She must be one of my rabid fans. I don't like it either. What if she intends to commit a crime and blame it on the citizens' militia? I'm sorry I sold my gun.
Yeah, it's not good. I do hope we manage to clean this mess up somehow, while also keeping our focus on the murder investigation.
This mess.
Your
He
mess.
means your
Andy, you can find
mess.
his buyer?
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it right now. You'll just have to hope Everett wasn't lying, and the Union can track her
Has
down.
Everett
in time.
Clinton's Union come here to track that gun?
Maybe. Shady-looking guys came in here yesterday, looking like they'd just taken off their Wild Pines overalls. They asked if I have a police weapon to sell. I told them I already sold it. They went their way. It was a trip, but you know, all sorts of people come here, asking for all sorts of things.
Maybe Claire really is tracking down your gun.
At least now I know how I lost my sidearm. Let's talk about
Of course.
something else. Is Roy high? And if yes, what is he on?
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Prolidon. It's tough to come by on the street. A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
I tried to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature.
There's a note of indignation in his voice. Those triangle patches on his vest, you have a feeling they mean something, like they're similar to the halogen rectangle on your jacket.
What's with the triangle in your vest?
I was with the Emergency Relief Brigade. You know, after the People's Pile disaster. Had to take Prolidon for radiation sickness. That's what you were hinting at just now, wasn't it?
He's taken for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
Tell me about the
We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized. Tried to help the fire brigades contain the spill.
Tough son of a gun, this one. Respect.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance. Didn't have the art to let it all go to shit without trying to do something to help. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick.
must have been tough, radioactive cleanup.
There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened, and why no one has tried to repair or replace the pile. So much disappointment, and early deaths. Cancer mostly. And we knew all that was coming even as we were cleaning up as best we could. No one's. Everyone's.
So much bitterness.
A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is
People's
going to
pile.
happen? A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere. Probably some of it in
How you
you
not running a
too.
pawn shop?
The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died. Left me this shack and all the assorted junk in it. So I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forburg as I can. Still in the same city, but
Thanks for telling me.
I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Cool.
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order.
The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but
Where'd you get this?
persistently.
It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property.
He leans in so the pilot doesn't hear him.
You have to admit it's rather clever.
He
what
pauses,
he's done
studying the
with
light.
it.
How much for the street light?
700 real. A bargain, I dare say.
A bargain? No, it's not. He's trying to sweet talk you into buying
A bit
trash.
about right, I imagine. 700 sounds about right. I imagine it wasn't easy sawing off the street lamp.
Hey, I don't know where it came from, but it's not every day you get to buy and sell something.
Let's see what else you
so-
have around here. Mostly military wear with a few more eccentric fashions thrown in.
The boomboxes on the shelf look well loved and well traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their
Sounds like to
tape
see more.
reels. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says Stereo 8 approved. This is you. Golden orange. A sunset suite.
What I really want to know is, could this device come in handy? Please. Should I keep the Stereo 8 approved machine here?
Is the Harman Welsh W2. Made in Vespa. Designed in Seoul. Plays all reel-to-reel format. 2
Good to know if I ever need to play a reel-to-reel, I can come buy one.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. Try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back.
In her back?
Yes, buy something nice.
Inspect
A
the knights on
figurine.
horseback.
Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks, the kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in
Who
the
are
blink
they?
of an eye.
Franco-Nigerian Knights. I used to be very serious about these guys.
A long, long time ago.
Inspect the blue uniforms.
They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
Are these royalty soldiers?
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are.
The rags.
This set of soldiers
I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win.
I wish there's more nuance. It's meant to give people hope. Even we can do it. The contrast is meant to be disheartening, as it ought to be.
I don't like either set very much, to be honest.
He seems to have his own take on the conflict played out in perpetuity by
Dig up
these
a
toys.
truly cool figurine
Might be
in
interesting
the
to
box
find
under the
out what it
table.
is. Everything you pick out seems faded, chipped, and sad.
What if I was
Most
to
of
get
them
a
are
little
just
more
broken toys.
interfacing? Can I do it now that I've... There you go.
You see rows
Hey!
of toy soldiers. Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man wearing futuristic tracksuit trousers that say found.
What's this?
Oh, that's the Headless
Who?
Phone Rider. The Headless Phone Rider. It's an urban legend. About a man who rides the streets of Revachol sporting a fawn tracksuit. As you see, he's missing his head. 50 cents. Bargain price. I'll throw in the tiny cap too. I think he's looking for it. or something. That part of the story has many
Oh
interpretations.
yeah, let's buy it.
Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky? Always carry it with you.
That was a very smooth salesman's grin that almost comes off as earnest. You should learn from
Step away from the table. A bust of a woman. Clark simply says D. In the dark, a film projector is whirling away. Some kind of machine, an antique cash register? It is getting awfully dark. As it approaches midnight, I think it's time for bed. So let's head back to the Whirling Rag, pay our tab, and sleep for the night. Oi. It's about that money I owe you.
Yes.
Have your money.
Have you got it? Well,
Here it is. Sorry for the trouble.
great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow.
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money, he really wants to make sure you're not angry with him.
I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9
9
p.m.
p.m.
Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything
Goodbye.
else I can do for you?
Big old karaoke mic, just waiting for someone to sing into it. This is where the lyrics would be.
You should totally sing karaoke here, the first chance you get. Your emotions need to be expressed. People need to know your vast, oceanic soul.
Their soul is immense.
Utterly. And it needs to be heard through a PA system by other people, whether they like it or not. Ram it up their ears, says your adrenaline gland. Violently express yourself. You have not yet stumbled on the right lamentation, but it's out there. It'll come to
Something
you.
happy.
You will wreak havoc with it.
I think it sounds good.
Don't worry.
They'll really get a gauge of.
Serves them right. Wipe that smirk off their face with your sad,
Who's
tragic
laughing
song.
now?
Who's laughing now? No one. You have to find something tragic to sing first, though.
This goes well with a theory I'm developing that I am a down on my luck superstar person.
Who is mistakenly identified as a cop for his prominent jawline? Yes, sounds likely. You should probably go on stage and pose for a moment when you're done with this thought. See if it works.
It feels right. You belong here on stage. But I will unequip the garbage bag and get rid of the light.
Yes?
Nothing.
This is the door to the room you
Good night, Lieutenant.
redecorated.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation.
Alright, let's
go
go.
out to the balcony.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically. I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
Cigarettes are great. I think I'm gonna have one too.
You're cold, detective. Again, I only have exactly one every night.
Below, the city trembles with its remaining lights. People are rushing home, running away from home, smoking, sleeping, singing in the shower. Edges of dining tables, hands, aprons flicker through windows before
How'd you get so
the
cool,
lights go
Kim?
out.
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
Kind of will, unhealthy.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easier to simply
Right then.
quit.
Yes. It's been a long and eventful day.
How do you think today went?
Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not easily approachable in that state, but we did it. Our inspection could have been more thorough, as it always can, but we have some leads we can follow up on. In addition, we got that body down from the tree, and we performed a field autopsy on the victim. We found some things we can really work with. I still feel like we are missing something, and there's still work to do at the crime scene too.
He's right. You could smell it. That something is missing, even under the overpowering odor of the corpse.
Now, as for interviews, my list of people to talk to here in Martinez, I mean.
Takes a deep drag and looks at the city. It's my forte. Unlike most cops, I understand how important communication is in our line of work. The initial interviews, yes, well, we talked to some people.
Including Evrard Claire, the daunting adversary, if there ever was one. He wasn't particularly forthcoming with useful information.
I'm sure I can get him to tell us more. He's a tough cookie, that one.
Claire also helped you, how should I say, remember your name?
Big relief.
That's a relief.
It's a very serviceable name too.
Moving on, we didn't talk to the Wild Pines rep. We really must do that tomorrow. Above all though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get
I
out tomorrow.
don't like to waste time, you know. My mind moves fast, the rest has to keep up with me. I'm training for long distance run. I want to raise money for charity. And so I roll in the precinct. I don't know why I do things I do, Lieutenant.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those
Nods. Thoughtfully tapping his fingers in his boots.
Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green.
Thanks.
Goes with the orange.
Thank you for the compliment. We could manage it even in wooden clogs. There are uncanny running reservoirs in this body.
So
God knows
what
why.
are our powers exactly? The RCM.
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Rebachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
Wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust.
1,000, why not more?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part
Okay,
in the
what
economic
else?
structure of Rebachol. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station cold sleep. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
Wait, how can you be sure the arrestee will show up?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
When power calls you, you come. But power itself is a
I
fragile
see, and
trick
if
of
someone
deception.
resists?
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power.
What happens to the people we convict?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
He taps his coat pocket where he keeps his notes. Wait, so if I killed someone while on duty...
You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone,
And
which
who
is
makes
for the
all
best.
these rules?
The coalition government, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less.
His glaze is absolutely fixed on a window below that just went dark.
Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Let's say it was the citizens.
Silence. A great comment to such a conundrum.
Wah 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 wah. Wah 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 wah.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
They really don't like us here.
Hero.
And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different in land, in Jamrock and the GRIH.
Why are they like this?
It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions
And in
of our two
Jamrock.
precincts.
And in the GR? GRH?
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land.
He looks at the dark silhouette of the equestrian monument cutting into the night city.
It's incredibly hard. Human
He
beings
shakes his
are-
head.
But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't,
I hope our
the city would
investigation will help
disintegrate.
improve the situation here, at least do some good.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic
What
changes in our
what is
lifetimes.
that?
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the
Didn't know.
revolution failed.
If I didn't know, how would you describe them?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental
What do they believe in?
organizations in the world. What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others
Who
say
is
they are
Dolores
just
Day?
technocrats. A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
For you, she is something painful, though it's hard to say
What's
why.
their symbol?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Do you hear me now?
Something ominous, something even a little feminine, but in
What
a
do you think
strict
of them?
manner.
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change.
He looks...
And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him. The lieutenant breathes out a chestnut-scented cloud of cigarette smoke.
The moral intern are a fact.
You like
It
them?
is more than
I
that.
did.
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky. They're not all that bad. but the years have changed that. I don't know
I have
what
an
I believe in
opinion.
now. No, do you?
Things are bad out there. We need here giving us. They've done an awful job here. Have you seen the place? Humanism. We are stooges of the world's biggest bureaucrat organization, protecting bureaucrat rights. Immigrants, liberal kips, fucking men are turning into women. On second thoughts, I don't have an opinion. Forget about that.
My kind of police officer.
The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses, the red and golden orbs of the motorway sliding like pearls on a string from east to west as Revachol commutes back to the suburbs. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Monday is over.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Do I just try and knock on this door again?
The door is closed. Still nothing. The lieutenant, he doesn't like it. You should punch a fucking hole in it. The murmur in
I'm
your...
gonna punch a hole in a door. See you in the morning. He shuts the door? Yeah, there we go.
The window stands broken in its frame. Cold wind
Access
blows
the
in.
damage.
The shards face outward. Whatever broke this window
Did I
came
break
from
with my
the
own
inside.
hands?
A fine web of scarring covers the back of your right hand, but none of it is recent.
What did this then?
More likely a projectile than a held object. There are no fragments on the floor from pulling a tool back in after impact.
Assess the size of the impact.
It is too large for a bullet, yet too small for a piece of furniture. You're looking for something heavy and larger than your fist. The shoe you found on the balcony fits the hole almost as well as your foot. It would have also been heavy enough if thrown with force. Congratulations. You smashed the
I'm
window
sure I had a
with
good
your
reason for it.
own
Maybe I
shoe.
was trying to hit someone. What a stupid thing to do.
Pretty much. But hey, at least you found your shoe. Not that it will keep you warm at night. The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look
Crawl
awful.
in.
The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes.
Good night.
And then sleep doesn't come. And then sleep doesn't come.
But I want to sleep.
Obviously, you're in
It's
bed
not
with your
happening.
eyes
Why?
closed. Maybe it's the bed's fault.
Check the pillow.
Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase
Check the
smells
blanket.
oddly. It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colors. You won't get off this
Roll
carousel
over the other
quite
side.
so easily. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it? Something to do with, what was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your thoughts lost between
more
the
thoughts.
slowing
Fall asleep
brain
now.
waves. Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming.
I'm dreaming. Okay, well, that's an exciting place to leave off. We've been going for about 3.5 hours now, and I gotta get back to work. So let's save game and say, call it Where Dream and Yo.